Hi, and welcome back to It's Not Rocket Science, 5 questions over coffee. Today I have with me actually it's a lemon scented water, which is not quite the same as coffee. Anthony, I hope you've got something as a refreshing beverage in front of you.
I
Let's
got
see.
myself my
Yes,
coffee.
good man, good man. So I'm here today with Anthony Taylor from SME Strategy. I'm really looking forward to this because I think this is a really big and important topic. So welcome to the podcast, Anthony.
Thanks, Stuart. Great to be here. I'm very excited to chat.
Okay, terrific. So, I always start these off with just the simple question that I hope sort of kicks everything off. So, can you just in a few words, sentences to Anthony, describe your ideal client, who you're trying to help?
Yeah, absolutely. So, our ideal client are CEOs of companies that are between 10 and 100 million, which in one way is a large range, and another not so much. And those CEOs are trying to grow their business. They want to have a legacy. They're entrepreneurial. They care about people, and they want to grow and move forward. And those are the people that we've been really helping the best over the past, 10 plus years of doing what we do.
And is there a sort of you say that range? Is there a particular stage in their growth that you really find is the ideal one?
Uh, I'd say from, everybody's got like sort of it's more the growth stage. So 10 to 20, 20 to 50, 50 to 100, they all have a similar problem. It's just has a different flavor at the time.
Okay, so that brings us to the second question then, really. So, what is that problem? What is the thing which they're struggling to do, which they try and do on their own without help?
Yeah, so and I was trying to save it for that, but we call it the multiple destination trap. I got to be a good guest here. We call it the multiple destination trap. It's that both the CEO and their leadership team and the rest of the organization, they're moving in different directions, and it's not
Mhm.
necessarily that it's their fault. It's actually a byproduct of their success, because after getting to a place where they wanted to go, now they're placed with a whole new set of options, a whole new set of opportunities, a whole new set of concerns and needs and wants. And the challenge is getting their entire organization not only aligned to where they want to go, making sure they're going to the right place, but setting up the structure, systems, processes, and strategies in order to get them there. And so they call us to help them get aligned, move forward, and set their team up for success.
Really important stuff, Anthony, because I know you're right. This is not something which people sort of set themselves out to do. It's a byproduct of everything else that's going on. The fact that they're building a business and they just, you get lost in the fact that somebody has decided they grow over here. There's somebody else that's growing over here. Getting that alignment is so difficult when you've got everybody pulling, in so many directions, trying to make the company grow as quickly as you can. Isn't it? It's just one of those problems. It's a byproduct that you have to sort of try and fix.
Absolutely. And some might say it's not rocket science, but the ability to actually do it properly in addition to your full-time job is really challenging, because you're in it and you can't see all of the challenges
No.
and you've got your day-to-day going. So you're trying to, build something over here, while you've got to maintain, keep your eyes on the road in front of you. So it's challenging, but it just requires a lot of focus. But then the benefit is that sort of next stage of growth. That's why some CEOs are great at certain stages, because they have that experience. It's when they have to get to a new stage, a new transition, that it's a whole new set of growing pains, and we just complement and add to them.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
great point. I think it's a great point. So many CEOs do have that sort of slightly different skill set, don't you? They just need to know where to complement and where to use that energy to sort of help them to bounce off somebody else in order to get there. So what's the valuable free resource you offer those CEOs in order to be able to take them to that level that the audience might be interested in?
well, there's actually two. So one, we put the link to the website,
And
SMEstrategy.net. There we go. And so on there, you can see a link to our scorecard. So it's a scorecard to be able to assess where your team is at, to see if you are stuck in the multiple destination trap, or if you're moving towards one destination. And the reason why we wanted to give this scorecard away, and there's also a chat bot if you want any other tools and resources, is that sometimes it's hard to have those conversations. It's hard to say, hey, are we on the same page? But by using a survey that's just 1 out of 10, it takes 7 minutes to do. You can begin the conversation with your team of saying, "Oh, we aren't clear on where we're going, or we don't have the right communication, or our tracking isn't sufficient for us to get to where we want to go. And so it's a really easy intro to have with your team, but also a great self-reflection to say, oh, maybe I'm not as aligned as I thought I was, but you're too busy moving forward to actually look backwards to see where the rest of your people are at.
I think the other thing that those sort of things help most CEOs do is the fact that they're fairly sure that they were very clear in their last communication of what the direction is. It's only when you get that feedback to say, wait a minute, where did they get that idea from? Or good grief, that was 8 months ago. When did I not update everybody on the fact that 8 months ago is beyond the history of this organization? That's when you begin to realize that actually communication is a very long process sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, it's you only control half of the communication. The receiver controls the other half. But one of the challenges that CEOs have, it's sort of the bane of their work, is that their job is to be visionary and to be ahead of their people so they can lead them. But if you're too far ahead of your people, your team will actually regress because there's too much of a gap. So you have to maintain a healthy distance between you and your team, but also not take for granted the fact that your brain is a couple steps ahead and you think what you're saying is very clear, but everybody else wasn't privy to your thoughts. Like, surprisingly, they can't read your mind. And then that's when the gaps, that's when the frustration, that's when the uncertainty happens. And it plagues leaders everywhere.
Brilliant, brilliant. So, Anthony, that sort of really brings me to my fourth question. So, is there a particular concept or book or program that's affected you and you used as a sort of inspiration that you'd like to leave as inspiration for the people listening and watching at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many great books. So for me to choose one is a challenge. I really like, so I'm going to say From Good to Great. That's
Oh,
probably
great.
the best book about like thinking about that. But I'll say the caveat that book is just awesome and it really gets you that understanding. But I think for me, it's the complement of the sub skills, a complete approach, dare I say. I'm trying to, put all as many plugs in there as possible. But because you got to understand the people, you got to understand where they're thinking, you got to understand the culture, you got to understand change management at that level. So if all you have is, and I'm going to say, like, there's a book called Scaling Up, great book. But if all you have is the tool to lead the strategy, you miss the people part. And the people part is really what's going to make the biggest difference, because I can give you a strategic planning template, which you can get from my website for free. But if you don't know how to engage your people to move it
Yeah.
forward, you're going to have more challenges.
Brilliant. So, look, this has been a great discussion, Anthony. And I guess there's one question that you're currently thinking, oh, I wish he'd asked me this one. So I'm going to give you the free pass here. What's the question I should have asked you that I haven't yet? And don't leave us in suspense. Answer the question as well.
Well, I would say, where do people fail doing this is probably the biggest question, and I kind of alluded it to the people side, but I think the biggest thing, the biggest failure, and the question you didn't ask, is where people fail, and the answer is that they're too damn busy to do the work. And the best way I've heard this explained was the tyranny of the urgent, is that
Yeah.
CEOs and leaders will spend so much time dealing with what's on fire that they don't take the time to step back and look at root cause, or look at systems, or look at process, and they react. And so, what we do, we facilitate strategic planning sessions for organizations. We do those 2-3 day offsites, but it allows you to pause, step back, and actually look at the system, because you're not going to fix the problem using the same approach that got you to the problem in the first place.
Anthony, I think that is absolutely brilliant. I love what you're talking about. I think it's so important. So many organizations fail to understand the need to engage and fail to understand the curve that that communication is passing through the organization. I think a lot of what you're talking about is so valuable. Really appreciate you having a conversation with us. Listen, if you want to get on to watching these live so that you can ask questions of people like Anthony when they come on and talk about this, please subscribe at tca.fyi/subscribe. I won't do the HTTPS thing, but it's tca.fyi/subscribe. Get onto the mailing list so that you can get a notification that we got people like Anthony coming on, who's going to give such brilliant advice like this. Anthony, I thank you so much for just spending a few minutes with us. I know you're off to go and do something really very much more important than this now. You're going off to watch a soccer game, which I think is going to be so much more important than this. So really, thank you very much for taking a few minutes out of your day and spending a few minutes with us. Listen, everybody, get onto this website. Get onto Anthony's SMEstrategy.net website, because there is some really valuable stuff there. I really highly recommend you get on and have a look at some of that, some of those strategic planning frameworks that he's been talking about. Really great stuff. Anthony, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us. Really appreciate it. I look forward to watching some of this stuff develop into some of the businesses I know you're going to help.
My pleasure, Stuart. Thanks for having me, and
No
thanks to your audience for watching.
No problem. Thank you.